We finally have it! Takara has officially revealed the fully painted promotional model of MPMN-01 Sideswipe, marking the first real look at what the Reborn movie masterpiece line or MPM Next line is going to look like moving forward. And Sideswipe is scheduled for release later this year. This isn't just another repaint update, this is the moment the new MPM era actually become real. Back when the outer silhouette and the Ray prototype first got revealed, at first glance, the MPMN-01 Sideswipe really does look like a larger 33 figure. The shape, the chest breakup, the legs, it's easy to mistake for a simple upscale. And that backpack? Yeah, it's big. Probably the biggest complaint. It folds most of the Corvette hood right onto his back, which immediately gives off that over-designed 2012 vibe. But here's the thing. This is not just an oversized 33 Sideswipe. The mold is completely redone internally. Every mechanical layer, from the piston to the chest, has been reshaped with new segmentation. The sculpting is deeper, sharper, and more mechanical. You can see it especially in the abdominal section and the arm joints. And yes, the backpack is large, but structurally, it's much more deliberate. It's organized, not a jumble of folded panels like on the Revenge of the Fallen study series. It's honestly not far off from the MPM Jazz or MPM Ratchet, both of which have huge rear section too. If you look closely, this Sideswipe actually integrates that Corvette hood cleaner than Jazz's entire back panel. And now, we finally have the official promotional photos of MPMN-01 Sideswipe showing the figures in its fully painted final product appearance. Right away, I honestly do not think that these figures look that bad at all. In fact, the overall proportions are much stronger than a lot of people expected. From the front, Sideswipe reads very clean, very accurate, and the balance between the silver paint and the black plastic works extremely well here. The silver finish does a lot of the heavy lifting, helping the sculpted details stand out and giving the figures a much more premium presence than the earlier unpainted prototype suggested. The head sculpt also benefits significantly from the final paint. What previously felt slightly undersized now looks far more proportional in the official photos. Whether this is purely a paint or lighting effects or an actual adjustment by Takara is still something we need to confirm. But visually, the final result works much better. In terms of accessories and articulation, MPMN-01 Sideswipe is coming in strong. X-Hands appears to have 3 individually articulated fingers, which is a nice touch for excessive posing. The wheels on the feet are also fully rollable, staying faithful to one of Sideswipe's defining on-screen traits. Sideswipe will include both of his blaster, both of his arm plate, as seen throughout the Bayverse trilogy. On top of that, Takara is including special effect part as well. Interestingly, these are sliding motion effects rather than the traditional blast effects like we have seen with recent MPM release, which actually suits Sideswipe's fast and aggressive fighting style very well. The vehicle mode looks excellent in those official shots. The Corvette Stingray silhouette is clean, sleek, and very striking in silver. Panel alignment looks solid. The paint coverage is far better than many previous MPM Autobots. That said, the weapon storage in vehicle mode looks a bit awkward and visible, which is something that will likely divide opinions. One important detail we can now fully confirm is the wheel caps. Earlier prototype image made it unclear whether they would be painted, but the final promotional photos clearly show that the wheel caps are painted in the same silver as the car body. That alone helps the vehicle mode feel far more complete and premium. Takara has also confirmed that MPM-01 Sideswipe will be released in 2 colors variants. The standard Bayverse silver version represents his on-screen appearance, while the G1-inspired metallic red version will also be available for collectors who prefer a more stylized or homemade-based look. Overall, the final product's appearance shows a figure that may not be perfect, but is far more solid, better painted, and more visually cohesive than many people initially expected. As the first release in the Reborn, MPM or MPM Next line, this gives us a much clearer idea of what Takara is aiming for moving forward. When the leaked backpack images first surfaced, the backpack immediately became the main talking point for MPMN-01 Sideswipe. And that reaction is understandable. It is not a small backpack, and it is not trying to be invisible. However, context matters a lot here, especially when we compare it to what has come before. If we look at MPM Jazz, his backpack is not meaningfully better. It is bulky, poorly integrated, and paired with weaker articulation. and proportion issue throughout the body. Jazz backpack thread outward, break the silhouette from multiple angles, and never really feel like it was designed to work with the figures as a whole. It exists as a mask without offering much structural or visual cleanliness in return. By comparison, MPMN-01 Sideswipe backpack is still large, but it is handled with far more intention. The panels sag inward instead of flaring out. The bones stay closer to the spine, and the overall shape feels more controlled. It does not dominate the figures from the sides the way Jazz does, and it allows the front and side profiles to remain clean and aggressive. It is not perfect, but it is clearly managed rather than ignored. On the other end of the spectrum, the LS08KO sidearm Sideswipe does achieve a slimmer looking backpack at first glance, but it does so by introducing different compromise. The dual wings are extremely oversized, the surface detailing is softer, and the figures compensate with proportionately skinny legs and an oversized torso. While the backpack itself looks cleaner, the overall silhouette suffers as a result. That figure solved one problem by creating several others. MPMN-01 sits right in the middle, and that is where its strengths lie. The backpack is larger than ideal, but the mask is layered more cleanly. It stays tied to the body instead of spreading outward, and it preserves strong proportion in the chest, arms, and legs, rather than eliminating the backpack entirely. The design focuses on containing it and integrating it as clearly as possible. When comparing directly to the CGI model, the backpack is still too big, and that is a fair criticism. The CGI Sideswipe is extremely thin, sleek, and while transforming into a Corvette Stingray, which is one of the most difficult vehicle modes to replicate accurately at the MPM scale. Given that reality, this feels less like a failure and more like a calculated compromise, prioritizing structure, stability, and overall visual balance. So the real question is not whether MPMN-01 Sideswipe has a backpack. The question is whether this is the most balanced and controlled execution we have seen so far for fully transformable and official MPM scale Sideswipe. And that is where these figures become genuinely interesting to discuss. Now let's talk articulation, because this is where it redeems itself. Sideswipe finally gets proper shoulder range, butterfly joints, and much better ankle tilts. The plates connect naturally without the panel class issues that we have had since the Dark of the Moon modes for posing and displays. This thing has a commanding presence that the sidearm Sideswipe, the KO Bumblebee, and even the study series can't really match. But it's not perfect. Visually, the proportion and the backpack are still divisive, and that's fair. This isn't a design that hides everything cleanly. The Corvette panel are still visible on the backpack, and the rear mask will always be part of Sideswipe silhouette, no matter how you engineer it. Curious to hear what you think. It is a solid return for the movie masterpiece slice, or are the compromises still a deal breaker for you?